Hey, podcast fans. The riot continues to wrestle with technology. Technology.
Welcome to our podcast for today. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful weekend. So happy Monday podcast.
All right. So in the podcast today, the most important thing that happens is Space Karen. That to me is the most important. Are there other things?
Well, that's the most important. So if you're a fan of Elon Musk and you're like, oh, how does that and Space Karen connect? We'll cover it. And
it connects.
You're going to be amazed.
It connects, believe me when I tell you. So we also talk a bit about Thanksgiving, and we talk about the Harbinger of Failure and what he has done to Thanksgiving this year and to the whole state of Oregon, by the way.
In a lot of states at this point, it's not just that. Yeah. But there's a lot where everybody's going to have to work through for their Thanksgiving next week.
And Baskin Robbins and some Christmassy stuff. In fact, we talk about Christmas stimulus and something else Christmas. I don't remember what, but and we hear about Nikki's new phone and Google Stadia.
There you go. It's a packed full podcast. Hopefully you'll enjoy. Thank you guys so much for listening today. And as always, say hey. If you want to text 877 to RadioU, put that you're a podcast listener, put your name, and we'll see that next time we come in.
Bye.
Bye. Have a great day, guys.
It's the worst of the riot on RadioU.
Now, Nikki, you're not the only one that received a mysterious package over the weekend. Though mine was not sitting at the office. Do you see what this is?
Hey, did you get... Oh, is that your Stadia thing already? Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. This is Google Stadia. They had the... what did they call it? It's the... Wait, let me just grab the box.
It's like a Stadia Pro deal that they were doing with Google, and they were sending them out.
Yeah, if you're a YouTube Premiere member, which I am, because I couldn't possibly be forced to watch commercials in front of a YouTube video.
Well, they're not just in front, to be fair.
Yeah, that is fair. It's
throughout the entire YouTube video, but yes.
Man, YouTube is literally that's like my primary source of entertainment. It's weird. But this is the Stadia Premiere Edition, but they had a deal where this is the thing that last year was like $150.
Oh, that was? Oh, yeah. That means they had a lot of extras.
I know. It still says Premiere Edition, which means this has been in a warehouse somewhere for a year.
So Google was providing, you could sign up for one of those for free. So you got that. And didn't you get a... I don't know, the thing to plug it in, like a Chromecast or something? You got something with it.
Yeah, inside this box is like you open the box and the first layer is the controller and then the second layer is a Chromecast Ultra.
So remember when we tell you if you just wait things out, things will be a lot cheaper? In this case with like Stadia, we waited out and it was free, so we both got them.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I'm at this place now where I'm spoiled for riches, guys. I mean, like this Chromecast Ultra, I don't have anywhere to use this. Like I got,
you got none, but you have it now. That's at least good.
Yeah, I'm just saying that it's like you know what I need to do? I need to buy some more TVs. That's what it's down to.
That'll fix it.
I've got more streaming options now, so I need to get some more TVs. But I didn't actually. I played around with the controller a little bit yesterday, but I still didn't actually play it because it was like I had to re-sign up for Stadia to use it, and I was like, you know what, I'm too lazy to do this right now. But it came yesterday on a Sunday afternoon. I got an email that was like, FedEx has dropped this at your door, and then I found out the wind had blown it.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
This thing is heavy. The wind blew it. I don't even know where. One of my roommates was like, yeah, I found this 3 doors down.
Oh, my gosh. Our area had some really weird storms over the weekend, so I'm glad it survived it.
Hey, if I hadn't gotten that email that said it had arrived, probably would have never got it. Like, I don't know where it would have gone, but not here.
Well, I'm not sure if it's still free, but it's the Stadia, Google deal where you can get, if they're still offering it, you can get the controller and the Chromecast stuff for free.
Yeah, and let me just say this. If it's free, it's for me. Like,
he had to set the date, though, because you have Stadia to try for free for 30 days. So we have until a certain day when Stadia is no longer free. I just don't know if anybody's going to, have you played it at all, or were you waiting for the controller?
No, I haven't messed with it. I mean, I did a year ago. One of our listeners gave me because last year the deal was when you bought it, you got 90 days and you could give a 90-day guest pass to a friend.
Sure.
And one of our listeners sent me his guest pass, which was super generous of him. And I played a decent amount of Stadia last Christmas, just kind of playing with it and checking it out. But I have not yet used the controller with Stadia. So I was looking at it last night because it's not officially supported on my iPad, but they have ways of making you talk. So there's like an unofficial app that you can download and use, and I think that's what I'm probably going to end up doing.
Zach, I appreciate your text. He said, are you sure it was the wind? FedEx loves to just pitch stuff in the general direction of your house.
Well, you know what, Zach? What I was thinking is it's probably that he threw it at the house and then the wind took it.
Yeah, and he just didn't bother to bring it back. He was fine with wherever it landed. But yes, Zach, we understand. We see that happen all the time, too.
We absolutely do.
You thought they were bad live? Well, just wait until you hear this. The Worst of the Riot podcast with Obadiah and Nikki.
So I have said this before, and I'm going to make it a big reminder for everybody, but I have come to peace with the fact that I am the harbinger of failure.
Aww,
now,
you've been that for years, though, so it's nothing new.
Right. But I have further evidence of the truth of it. Now, if you're wondering what the harbinger of failure is, let me explain it to you. There was a study done a few years ago by some retail people, and what they found is that there is a subset of people that have a nose for products that won't sell.
Yeah.
And so they even said, they're like, it's not an indicator that the product is no good. It's just that they have essentially a taste that is not shared by mainstream America. And as a result, the products that they like the most are good indicators that they will not do well.
Now, it doesn't mean that everything that Obi likes will not do well. Because, right. Case in point, he likes the PlayStation 5. That one's going to do just fine. Yep. But when it comes to TV shows, some movies, smaller
snack foods.
Yeah, snack foods, smaller sort of tech things. If Obi likes it, there's a chance that the mass audience does not actually like it enough to stay around.
Yeah, it's a thing. And I'll just tell you, I may have jinxed the entire country. I had plans to travel for Thanksgiving.
And you just shut it all down.
I may have ruined the entire country. That's all I know. I'm just getting it out there. I just want you to know it was probably me.
Well, Obi cannot travel. I mean, he's been so sick, and you don't want to. And you saw how the area he was going to go down to shut down for several weeks. So he brought that.
That's the other thing I was going to say is if you didn't see it in the news, Governor Kate Brown of Oregon just announced a quote-unquote freeze, which is where I was going, to Oregon. I brought the freeze to Oregon.
And you didn't even have to go. Isn't that impressive? It was just the thought that you were going.
It was just my announcement that I was going was enough for them to be like, we have to shut the state down.
When I saw that, I was like, well, at least does that make it feel a little bit better for you? Even though like every place is threatening or has started different layers of shutdowns for bigger cities. But does that make it feel better that you're not going there? Because you could have still seen your family, but you probably wouldn't have been able to do anything else.
Well, you know what? If you look, they're saying a couple things they're doing that kind of blow my mind is they're limiting worship services, so like churches, to 25 people indoors and 50 outdoors. I have family there that are pastors, and so like us showing up to go to their church, they would have to have told like they would have to tell 3 people like you can't come today.
You would have had to wait outside, or they would have had to kick someone else out.
Obadiah's here. Would you mind staying home? Like, oh, he's here. We didn't even want to come.
we didn't want to be near him anyways. Aw. Yeah, when I saw that, I thought, well, your vacation, it's better you go when this is all better and you can actually enjoy being around family.
Yeah, so I'm figuring 2024, 2025, definitely going to travel again.
Don't say anything about it because
You're right.
Like, we didn't think this would last 4 or 5 years until Obi said something about it.
And now we're all screwed.
The definition of insanity is putting the riot on again and again and expecting a better result. It's the worst of the riot on Radio U.
With the Oregon freeze, so what I was thinking about doing is I have some family out in Oregon that I go to visit. Let's just say it's a multi-generational visit. There are kids to see, there are adults to see, and then there are older adults to see. Now, older adults sometimes, they didn't grow up with any of this fangled technology. They were like, man, long distance phone calls are expensive. That's the world that they
grew up in. Yeah.
Yeah. And so despite the fact that they've got a phone that they can talk to China for free, like whatever, probably a bad choice of country, but you get it. The other side of the world. They just sometimes the simplest things, and I mean the simplest things
become hard.
You just can't. It's the kind of stuff where, like, I forgot my password, so I just opened a new account. You're like, oh gosh. Okay.
Oh my gosh, I know a few people like that. You're like, why? Just recover your password.
You got 5 Amazon accounts. You got 6 Gmails.
You got 10 Facebook pages.
Yahoo. Yeah, like.
All right, so we're tracking because we know a lot of people like that.
So these are the people that I'm thinking about right now. So I was thinking that I would buy them a Facebook portal.
Oh, you think?
Okay, now wait a minute.
No,
now,
I know. Yeah, because they should be able to run it.
That is designed for the very thing I'm speaking of right now.
But don't you think maybe they just won't use it? Or
Well, now, that may be true, but my thought was, at the very least, for special occasions like Thanksgiving and Christmas, they could get it out. It obviously won't be charged. They'll have to plug it in.
And then they can at least still spend time with you guys since you can't see them.
There would still be some Ohio-Oregon connection there, and it wouldn't be me spending 30 minutes going, you just open Facebook. You just open it. If you can just open it, you just sit right there, and when it comes up, answer it. And you click answer.
And then you'll be fine.
And that, I'm telling you, like, that's too much for the laptop. So I thought maybe a Facebook portal. So I'm throwing this out there because I was wondering if anybody has done this. Has anybody bought a Facebook portal?
I think they've been around for so long, but not very popular to where they got to be pretty cheap by now. Are they free?
No, they're not. No,
they're not.
No, it's
they're not cheap.
For an 8-inch, it's $100.
It's not the worst.
For a 10-inch, I think it's $170 or something. Now, I mean, I will say it looks like a tablet, but they really have kind of tweaked it for video calls. So, I mean, it does a few things that your average tablet chat software does not do. I can't imagine that there's probably an app that would do it for free on your tablet, but whatever.
Well, I'll leave it up to you, but I just think you're going to, again, be disappointed when, it's still user driven on that end.
I know.
And there can still be so many issues. So sometimes it's nicer when you have family that you want to spend time with digitally that you can at least, can you get in and access it to set it up for them compared to if you can't access the portal remotely.
I know. You are right now discussing some things that I'm also concerned about.
At least with a laptop, you can take over it from wherever you're at and just open it up for them where you're at. But yeah, we'll just see if anybody's ever tried Facebook Portal and if they like it. For, the family members that need a little bit more help with the digital talk and the video.
It's real headed into the holidays this year because everybody's getting digital now. It's like it's a real thing.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
So I am not, it's not quite an hour yet, but we're approaching the 1 hour mark of Nikki owning an iPhone 12 Pro Max.
Yes, I'm pretty much all set up. I just need to.
Are you really?
Yeah, I just need to switch my SIM card, and outside of that, I think it's all good. It's all set up.
So by switching your SIM card, the problem really is me right now because you and I are FaceTiming.
You're not keeping me. Well, I could if I wanted, but I'd rather drain my battery on that one phone and then I'll switch to the new one so that I can play with the other one all day. So I'm very excited. The setup is nice. It really feels, it's a throwback sort of style for the new iPhones, and I like it. I didn't think I missed that sort of style, but I do. A little heavier around the edges.
I really like the thicker bezel, like the way they have that. Bezel's not the right word. It's the
trim.
Whatever the trim around the outside of the phone.
Outer layer of your phone, it looks and it feels like it did kind of back in the day, but it's still lighter and it's so bigger, and it's just a good thing this morning. Just a really good thing. Just a good day.
Tell me this. We were looking at the box. The box it comes in is small.
Skinny.
Is it? It's okay. All right. It's taken off a few. So is it because there was no charger in there?
Yeah, I mean, you get a cord, but that's about it. You don't get like a wall charger with it, and you don't get headphones.
$1,200 phone, no charger, no headphones.
If they were nice, can you imagine if Apple was so generous to where you got AirPods with each one? Can you imagine that? And not like they built it into the price, but like the price didn't change. So technically, you know, like they lowered the price of the phone, but you got that with it. That'd be a really nice bundle.
I can only imagine.
They're not going to do it, but it's fine.
Yeah.
It's just something to think about.
I just think it's funny. Things keep getting more expensive and they keep giving us less. It's great.
And it's also hard when a company, I'm not saying did Apple do it this way, but when they make it seem like they're trying to do it for the betterment of like the earth and for you.
Oh my gosh.
And they're saying how we have so many cords and we have so many chargers and we have so many headphones as it is that they don't want to keep sending those out, and that's perfectly fine if you don't want to, but it should have then decreased the price a little bit because we're not getting the same thing you used to get in your box.
It's like when hotels are like, we're so concerned about the earth, we don't want to clean your hotel room or give you clean towels,
Only
right?
if you ask for them, but you really shouldn't, because then you don't care about the earth if that's what you're doing. Yeah, like that. Apple kind of, I guess, did it that way, but I'm fine with it. It doesn't bother me.
Motel 6 and Apple on the cutting edge of protecting the earth.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
Really working hard on that, just on your behalf to make sure that you're really doing good.
This is RadioU's Worst of the Riot.
Nikki and I are recording the RadioU Christmas channel today, and as a result, we need to get in some Christmas spirit.
We've got to hear some Christmas stories. Sometimes even, when we're not talking with you guys, we'll listen to some Christmas music just to kind of bring the spirit in. Yeah, we'll set up the Christmas trees and stuff, and we'll kind of start that ball rolling so that you guys will have the RadioU Christmas channel soon.
Okay, now, this is, I think, one of the biggest studies in the history of studies / surveys. The Franklin Templeton Group, they are an investment firm. They do mutual funds and I don't even know what else. And so they did a study and they're ready to announce the findings of their study about Christmas. Are you ready?
Yeah.
They say that if the government would issue stimulus checks before Christmas, more people would spend that money on Christmas.
Oh, well, I don't think we needed to spend money on a study for that. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would we?
Whoa.
And are we talking about that again, or are we not talking about that?
Well, okay. Now, I will tell you this. I actually have wondered the same thing. Like, weren't you guys sending checks or something? I don't know. But it makes sense when you look at it. Okay, if you're an investor, you want to know what the market realities are. And as of right now, most Americans are planning on spending less money on Christmas this year than they have in previous years. As a result, that means that retail forecasts go down. That means that investors are sometimes willing to spend less money. Stocks might be worth less, et cetera, et cetera.
It's kind of like the forecast of what's to come.
Right. And so they're saying, hey, these stimulus checks would at this point have a better chance of being dumped directly into the economy than they would if they were released earlier in the year. Here's the sad part.
Yeah.
Basically, what they are not saying, but the mentality here, this is the conclusion I'm drawing is like, hey, government, businesses will get this money if you put the money out now. People might do something stupid like paying off a credit card if you release it next year.
Well,
we don't want that.
Not to pull back the curtain a bit, but you remember the first stimulus everybody had during the quarantine earlier this year? They didn't pay off stuff with that then. I think majority of people went out and bought some things that would ease the pain of the quarantine during that time. I'm looking at you, new TVs and new outdoor athletic equipment.
I'm looking at you, Thanksgiving trip to Oregon.
Oh, yeah, which, yours has been canceled. But, yeah,
fine.
I mean, it would be nice. The only sadness with that is if they're saying, hey, that's great, it goes back into the economy. I just know that a lot of it's not going back into the small business economy, which is what truly hurts the most right now for a lot of people. I mean, yeah, I think Amazon would have been fine anyways without the stimulus. But I think we would have spent a lot of money still on Amazon instead of going to smaller places that need the support.
Well, Nikki, right now, I pledge that if the United States government sends me a check for $1,200, I will take a portion of those proceeds and I will go to Rusty's Wharf.
Yeah.
It's a fish place, locally owned, not far from me.
You promise you'll do something locally?
I will buy my lunch with the stimulus check. They've got fantastic burgers. Okay. I know they're a fish place, but their burgers are really good.
Well, I think that's just what we need to remember is we'll spend a lot of money on big companies anyways with Christmas. That just tends to be where we buy a lot of our Christmas presents for people. But it's the smaller places that hurt the most.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I bought the first present of Christmas last weekend, and I bought it from Costco. It's real.
Yeah!
You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Now, I promised you back-to-back Christmas stories. The first one is that we're all hoping to get a big fatty check for the government so we can have the craziest Christmas ever.
And if we got a big fatty check, we would spend it on Christmas stuff, we promise. Not for other people, not just for ourselves.
And to help Nikki, I have also pledged to go to lunch at the fish place if...
to help local places, too.
It's locally owned, and they have really good honey mustard there, too. The other Christmas item...
There's more?
It's weird, but I've really been wanting their honey mustard. I want to dip their fries in it.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about like a curbside pickup or something.
You should.
For lunch.
They'll just throw it out towards you.
Just throw it at the window. Here, leave it on the.
Oh my gosh.
Leave it on the curb and back away.
They throw it at you, and then the honey mustard comes out and it splashes on your window.
No.
You're still just licking it off. It's fine.
Okay, when I was driving past Rusty's Wharf the other day, and I saw you licking your car's window. Like, yeah, don't worry about it. It's tough times for everybody.
It's best not to bring it up to shame the person.
We don't need to start judging people for licking the window, okay? But we might want to start judging Netflix. I see that people are getting pretty unhappy. Now, I have been doing a Yule log in my basement for, I don't know, the whole time that I've been home. Like, I've been Yule logging it up on YouTube, and I found a few different ones on YouTube that I absolutely love. In the middle of all of that, some people are turning to Netflix
for the Yule log?
For their Yule log, and it apparently is something that a lot of people have been using called Fireplace for Your Home, and it's just right there on Netflix. Well, people are so unhappy about Fireplace for Your Home because apparently this year's version of Fireplace for Your Home has swapped the music.
Oh, and so they're unhappy that it's not the same music they're used to?
That's exactly right. So people are angry that the music has been changed on the Fireplace.
Well, they change it too then. Like what sort of style has it gone from to?
According to this article on the Mary Sue, they say that it has gone to music that sounds like something you would hear in your orthodontist's office.
Oh, so it went from a nice instrumental holiday music to more like a jazzy sound. Would that be a way to say it? When I had to go to the orthodontist, it was always terrible jazz music. Just awful.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
So yeah, they say it's kind of like elevator jazz, which is a term.
Yeah. Hey, who doesn't love some elevator jazz at the fireplace?
So they're saying that this is probably a music rights issue, that maybe they couldn't have the same rights as last time, or maybe it's cheaper having the bad jazzy Christmas music, and that's why they went with it, because it's less money.
Do you guys see some of the crap that Netflix is producing? I mean, real talk. Those people are burning money like they print it. And this
is where they're cutting back at?
I know. That's what I'm thinking. Is like, you're telling me that the place that you draw your line are music rights and the fireplace thing? It's one of the most watched things on Netflix during the holidays. People use it like mad. Now, personally, I just lean on the old RadioU log.
You're right. We'll have one on our RadioU Roku channel when our Christmas channel comes out, so you can listen to the Christmas channel while watching the Yule log. But if you need one like today, you just can't wait. There's tons of places that offer Yule logs with, nothing if you just want to hear the crackling fire.
I will tell you which one I have been using the most. There is a Hallmark one. Yes, the Hallmark channel has a 3-hour Yule log on Netflix that does not have any music. Mm-hmm. It just has the fire, and it has like stockings and a Christmas tree, and it has a cat. And the cat just kind of wanders around.
And Obi likes that because he can't have that in real life with his allergies.
I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to post my Yule log of choice on our Facebook page right now.
Are you?
So this will give you something to look at until we
ours
get the
comes
RadioU Christmas Yule log thing set up for you.
Well, if you hop over to RadioU RIOT, that's our Facebook page. That's where he'll post it if you need a Yule log for today. But if you normally watch the Netflix one, there is more than one version, but they're saying that the classic version that everybody liked the most, its music has changed, and that's why people are mad.
And I suppose we could argue over which one you watched the most, but you get where we're coming from here.
Maybe the RIOT would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the RIOT on RadioU.
'Tis the season to scalp. Are you even allowed to say that anymore?
You mean like tickets and stuff, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, is that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe not if you're wondering. Resell
at exorbitant prices?
Yes.
I don't know.
There's probably another term for that, but sure. Yes, it seems like that is what it is.
All right. Well, I don't want to offend anybody. I'll have to deep dive on that word later. But people are reselling consoles at a crazy price. I had so many people I've been telling my friends, hey, I did get a PlayStation, and here's how I got it. And that is Derek, who is a friend and listener, who basically he ended up with 2 consoles, and he sold me one. And here's what makes Derek heroic. Not just that he reached out, but he sold it to me at cost.
Isn't that amazing? That's a true person right there. They didn't even charge you anything above it.
That's heroic.
That's a miracle.
It is. And so that is not the case with a lot of other people. Now, we're not saying that somebody's actually going to pay it, but there are Xboxes and PlayStations listed on eBay right now. The top price, again, I don't think they'll get it, but someone has a PlayStation 5 listed for $32,000.
Oh, no. Please never pay that much for it. Just wait.
I think that to me feels just more like bait. Like They just wanted to throw that up there just to make a point. And then there are Xboxes for as high as $8,000. Again, I don't think anybody's actually paying that, but it's just like a thing that someone has done. But it is very common to see them selling for $1,000, $1,500, all on eBay. So
if you think about it, anywhere from $500 to maybe $600 or $800 more than what you would pay for it in stores. Hopefully shipping's included. Hopefully,
well, I hope so.
Take some of the sting off of it.
Well, I can tell you right now, I don't think I could look somebody in the face charging them 3 times the retail price for something and handing it to them. We would have to do it through shipping because I would be too ashamed to do that.
Well, that's what makes it frustrating, because that's the type of person that got it in the first place, and they don't want it. They didn't buy it because they wanted it, and they're like, oh, well, maybe I have to resell it. I have to end up getting money for it. They bought it so that they could resell it for that much money over it. That's why we, the normal people who just want to get something, cannot actually buy it when something comes out. These people get somehow ahead of the line.
It's very frustrating. And I know that there are people who are like, hey, that's my job.
That should not be your job. That should not be how you're making money. It's not flipping this console. That's not what we're doing.
It's not. You're right. It's not a house. You're not. You know what? That's actually a really good point. It would be different. I think their argument might be, hey, I put the effort into getting it. So you paid me to get this. But I mean, it's not like a house where they're adding value to it. They're doing nothing. They're paying one price and then selling it to you at a much higher price. And listen, that's just you adding a rung to the retail chain. That's not like we've already gotten to the retailer. You're the retailer.
You just dished in front and took it before we had a chance to get it, but you would have been paying the same price. So
it's
yeah,
wild.
Just wait. Don't pay that stuff, because then that encourages it. If we stopped encouraging that, then it would go away, or at least it wouldn't be so bad.
But Nikki, it's Christmas and there's stuff.
No.
Okay. All right. I was just saying.
Just don't do it, and it'll get better over time.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that.
The Riot really wanted to do this live, but now they can play video games and eat rice cakes instead. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
Thanksgiving still has to happen. And as a result, Nikki and I are considering what our Thanksgiving options are now that I'm not traveling.
Yeah, you get to stay home. What do you think you might have when you're at home for Thanksgiving?
How do you feel about a Thanksgiving ice cream cake?
This is the weirdest looking thing in the world. I've never heard of this before, but they're treating it like this has always been around for Baskin & Robbins, kind of like it's a thing.
Well, according to this article on Delish, they say that the Baskin-Robbins thing has been around since the late 70s. It just has never looked quite so impressive.
Oh, it's an ice cream cake that looks like a turkey on a plate. Like when, you see the iconic turkey comes out of the oven. It's got it even has the string like on the sides, but it's an ice cream cake.
It looks
Gross.
Good and confusing.
It's so shiny. It's just because it's so shiny. I don't know what's wrong with it.
Well, I just feel like it looks turkey enough that I feel like my brain is telling my mouth that is like dressing or gravy on the outside. And that's not what that is.
It's cake. It's ice cream cake.
Yeah.
So it looks like I
like ice cream cake.
The one we're looking at is from 2008. So I'm not sure if that's the last time they've offered this, or they just say that it's really kind of behind the scenes that you can get one of these turkey things. So the turkey-shaped ice cream cake, though, is back for this year. And that is something people will be able to order, but it's very hard to get.
Well, I'm looking at Baskin-Robbins Instagram right now, and yeah, they are saying that you can get it, and I'm watching them cut it open, and you know what? I'll just tell you I would eat it.
So the turkey cake has, let's see, the 2 sugar cookie cone legs. There's a caramel praline topping glaze, chocolate chip cookie dough, peanut butter and chocolate chip, old-fashioned butter pecan. You can actually choose what flavors you want to make up your cake with it. And then that's it. You cut it open, and it's an ice cream cake.
It looks so good.
I watched
maybe
and ice cream.
I watched the Great British Baking Show last weekend, and they had to make ice cream cakes, but it was also like 100 degrees outside. And so they're working in the tent trying to make ice cream cakes. It was, you know what? I felt very bad for those people, and I got a little angry with Paul Hollywood that week. I was just like, bro, you guys need to reschedule.
You can't expect them to be able to make something like that when it's so hot. But for this, they're saying that Baskin & Robbins is promoting the fact that you can get delivery of these ice cream cakes through DoorDash, Uber Eats, and then their mobile app in the area. But there's just not going to be a lot of the turkey Baskin & Robbins cake. I don't even see a price for it, so I'm not sure how much it would actually run you.
I think I might just be hungry. I got to stop looking at that.
Is it too tempting?
Yeah, like I just keep looking at it like I want to eat. So let's just stop.
Well, I'm on the website now, so I'm going to try to go through the prompts to see if it'll actually tell me how much it might run me, if we even have one close enough to where they let you do that. So yeah, but they have other stuff too. I don't see the holiday stuff on their website. Not yet.
Well, you know what? Instagram's they're just like a band.
I found it, Toby. I see the turkey cake. It's not available at my chosen store. It's not available here.
Well, you know what? Pick another store. Keep picking.
You're listening to The Riot. Let's all work together today to live life with the patience of a Nikki dealing with an Obadiah.
Gotta hang in there and get through it.
You're listening to The Riot.
Okay. I'm not going to bury the lead. Here's the bottom line is that there is a person on Twitter named Emma Bell, and she is getting retweeted a lot because she referred to Elon Musk as Space Karen.
Oh.
And I can't stop laughing about it.
You can't stop thinking about it?
That is so funny. And some of the photoshops of the Karen hairstyle that they are dumping on Elon Musk, amazing. So here's what it goes back to. Elon Musk did, I think in a few hours or a day, he did like 4 rapid tests, COVID tests.
Yes.
And so he did, and 2 came back positive and 2 came back negative. And he's like, hey, something's not right here, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the thing that you have to understand. Everybody wants to dump a hot take on social media about COVID-19 and, you know, their thought or in some cases their experience. And the issue is that he took the rapid test, which gets results in 30 minutes. And they flat out tell you up front, hey, we're basically trading accuracy for speed here. Like for it to...
Yeah, he was just saying how that seemed to be what his controversy was about. He was just saying, hey, what's up with this test that a lot of people have to end up taking? Most people don't take 4 at a time. But yeah, most people do take it, and they always say there's a good chance it's wrong. That one can be wrong.
Right. And to be clear, like I'm not defending the establishment. I can already feel the anti-masker rage beginning to build as I'm even talking. What I kind of want to say is this is part of the problem. Like we're all hot takes without context. And that is social media's issue. And we're not going to fix that here. And quite frankly, we probably never will. The most important thing is that somebody's referring to Elon Musk as Space Karen. And the second
and Obi loves that. Obi just loves it.
I have come around on it. I have people in my life named Karen that are some of the kindest, nicest people that I know. And I feel like the name Karen has been so dirtied for them that in a way that it's just not fair. It's so unfair to them.
Well, that makes it even harder because the only Karens we do know have always been so sweet and wonderful and nothing like what a Karen is to everybody else. So I just don't know, like, could we have not gone with a different name? Like, is there a name that usually has more people that are ruder or something?
I don't know, but I know that when you all of a sudden make it Space Karen, I guess I just like it when you put space in front of anything.
Yeah, you do. I know you do. And he absolutely loves that.
Space Karen. It's so good. It's so good.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
The war on Thanksgiving.
Are we having one? Oh, just because, we're not supposed to get together.
We're not supposed to get together. So it's been interesting watching the back and forth online. I saw somebody that posted, they said something like, I refuse to not have Thanksgiving because this might be the last year I see some of these people. And the response somebody put was, if you have Thanksgiving, you're guaranteeing it's the last time you'll see them. And I was like, you know what? Way for us to just, let's take it all the way to the top. Let's take the volume and crank it.
It's hard. And I know a lot of people that are unhappy about the Thanksgiving suggestions that have been given state by state because of the inconsistencies that it makes with the other suggestions that they have, or these people have to follow these rules, but those people don't have to follow these rules. Like, I think you might be upset about the Thanksgiving thing, but I think we're all just upset about the bigger picture of it. And it just really hits hard, especially around holidays when, those suggestions come out.
There are a lot of things. There are not very many sacred things left in the United States, but as a people, we continue to think very highly of Thanksgiving and Christmas. So when you start to mess with those, it becomes the last straw for a lot of people, and I totally get it.
And I think because that was everybody's mile marker to look forward to, of well, at least Thanksgiving we could see everybody then, and then now everybody says no, you shouldn't. So everybody's disappointed with that.
Well, Nikki, I'm looking now at a survey that was conducted by the Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center, and here's what they found. 40% of people in the United States still plan to gather in groups of 10 or more this holiday season. Mm-hmm. And they're saying, please don't do that.
Well, I mean... Are there some states and cities where you're not being, you're encouraged, depending on where you live at, you're really encouraged and you're told not to. But I guess there are probably some areas where they don't have that.
Well, let's see. The two states that I've been paying the closest attention to have been Oregon and Ohio. In Oregon, I don't have it pulled up in front of me, so I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure their governor said you shouldn't be having Thanksgiving with
anyone.
But they said more than 6 people or 2 households. So the idea was basically grandma and grandpa come over and there's 8 people. Fine. That's 2 households. But don't bring together all the aunts, uncles, cousins, twice removed, whatever. That's what they're asking you not to do. According to the survey from the Ohio State University, 33% of those responding said they would not require friends or family to wear masks. 25% said they would not practice social distancing.
So they say that, 73% of respondents said they would practice social distancing during the holidays. And 79% said they would only gather with people with whom they live. So it just really depends on, what we're asking and what areas you're being told to do.
I don't know. It's weird. I'll tell you, wearing a mask, I live here, and in the common areas of my house right now, I'm still masking up because there is a concern that I may still be contagious. And so I have been wearing a mask, and I'll just tell you right now, stand in your kitchen and wear a mask.
And then you won't feel so bad wearing it into a store, right?
And when I do, I'm standing there and I'm just like, what the heck? I don't...
It's like when everybody sees people in the car, wearing it and they're by themselves. And you're like, why are you wearing a mask in the car? And you know, there are reasons why someone might actually do that, but it's just weird seeing it.
You know what? I am taking my doctor's recommendations seriously, even if there's part of me that is screaming, seriously?
So for Thanksgiving, that's some of these stats they're saying for people, and if they're going to want to social distance or quarantine or not do anything or do something, those are some of the numbers for it.
Real talk.
Is it healthy eating so many snacks, chips, and Oreos every single morning? No, of course not. But they do it for you.
Too many guys got the stomach for this line of work.
That's real love. It's the Riot on RadioU.
Nikki, you've seen the videos.
Of?
You've seen the pictures.
Yeah.
The people on the lake party boat.
Which one's that one? Wait.
No. It's not a specific one.
Okay, no, yes, we have seen party boat, the culture that goes with that.
And how It's funny. I hadn't thought about it. And this just goes to show you just how naive I really am. I assume you go out on the party boat and everybody's drinking. And then every hour to like 60 to 90 minutes, the boat goes in and everybody gets out and goes to the bathroom. And then the boat goes back out.
I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? That's what you would have to do if everybody needs to use the restroom.
That's what I would do. But apparently, if you're partying on a boat, the lake is your toilet.
Well, during the summertime, I saw, on TikTok and on Instagram and stuff, it became very popular to show that you were not going in to use the bathroom. And it just became a trend of like lake life. This is what you would do. You just go to the bathroom in the lake.
So there's a guy named David Lesh who runs an Instagram account, and apparently his Instagram account is him. I'm going to quote the U.S. Park Service on this, that he is disrespecting public lands. And so he very brazenly refers to Maroon Lake as his toilet. And Maroon Lake is in Colorado. And so a lot of people got to see him pooping in the lake on Instagram.
Yeah, that's what you saw.
And so as of Friday, some things have changed. He has now been banned from national parks, forests, monuments, or any piece of land that is the Bureau of Land Management managed.
I like that monuments are included, just in case, just to make sure. They say that they were investigating the photos and stuff of him because the lake is a part of the watershed that supplies drinking water to Aspen, Colorado. It is one of the most visited sites in the National Forest System. And if you've ever been to, like, we have a lake near us that usually has, sorry to say this, but a poop alert during the height of the summer season.
True.
And you're like, oh, I wonder why this alert's going on. You're like, well, that's because people are using the lake as their restroom. And then you could get really sick if you drink any of the water.
And just to be clear, you will drink some of the water if you swim in it.
I know. And I used to think, oh, it's because there's a dog park there where the dogs are all going in. It's like, no, it's not. It's just because of, the humans that are in the boat and what they're doing.
You're a sweet kid. Now,
don't blame the dogs.
Now, this ban, the lawsuit is still pending, but this ban has been put on him until the lawsuit is over. So he could end up banned for life. We don't know. But they say the big problem with him is not just what he's doing, but that he's such an influencer that he is influencing other people to go out and do the things that he is doing. And so they're saying, brah.
Like I mentioned it became a trend to be okay and show that when it was summertime. That was perfectly fine if people just poop it in the lake and they would show it. It was so bad. They would just show it. Like, isn't anybody ashamed anymore?
I'm going to say something to all of you right now that I don't think I've ever said before, but I'm going to give you a window into my life. I am fine. I have like almost no privacy. I'm just like, whatever. I don't care. What do you want to know? I'll tell you. But there is one moment in my life that is 100% mine and nobody else's. And that's when I'm in the bathroom.
That's private time.
That's it. Just leave me alone. I'll help you before I go in. I'll help you when I get out. Do not bother me while I'm in the bathroom. That's it.
That's not lake time. That's going into the bathroom time. And the two should not be the same.
Exactly. And so the idea that I'm going to suddenly turn the lake into my bathroom, I would need everyone to leave.
Including the boat. They would all have to get off the boat and be on shore.
Everyone has to leave now.
I hate thinking about it. It just because it happens. I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
I'm just not capable of that. It's fine.
If you missed out on the next Riot moment when it originally aired, you don't know how lucky you are. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
Because I got my PlayStation 5, I'm back on golf. Like I am golfing again.
Well, what's the game that you like? Is it
Everybody's Golf?
That's the one. He loves that game.
Oh, I've been having a blast with it. And it seems to me that it's no accident that the very weekend that I'm back into electronic golf is the weekend that the Masters tournament takes place.
You think that was planned? Seems like it.
Seems like it was a thing, right?
Doesn't mean like he was watching the Masters, but at least, he is appreciating it maybe a bit more now that he's into golf.
Oh, Nikki, I'm on the Pro Tour now. I mean, it's the fake Pro Tour, but it's still the Pro Tour.
Still pro.
So we're clear. So Dustin Johnson won the Masters over the weekend, and in fact, he set a course record for Augusta National by finishing 20 under par. So congratulations for him. Now, that's the good news, and that's great, and that's the thing I'll never remember. If you ask me
about this year's tournament,
I'll never remember that Dustin Johnson won the Masters, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the nugget that I'm not going to forget. Tiger Woods shot a 10 on a par 3, which is just shocking.
So are you saying
it's crazy?
For those that don't follow golf, like you should have shot it in 3 strokes, but instead it took him 10.
So the idea behind a par 3 is that you should be able to do that hole in 3 strokes.
3 goes.
So, yeah. And so it took him 10, which is just crazy. And I mean, I know what that's like. Man, you just get...
You get in your head. That's the problem.
You do. You
Can't
do.
get
You get in your
out.
head and you're like, what's going on? But most people, like a professional golfer like Tiger, he would be expected to do that hole in 2 shots.
Sure.
One on the green, 1 in the cup, and that would be it. But it took him 10.
Aww.
That, friends, that's the thing that I'm going to remember.
And that's what Tiger Woods would like you to not remember. You can't remember the other thing? Like, forget this part. They said that that's his worst hole pretty much of his career.
As my friend Zach's dad would say to you, do right, no one remembers. Do wrong, no one forgets. Mm-hmm. So, hey, Tiger, how's that 10 going?
Obi can't forget. But congratulations to Dustin Johnson, who did amazing, and he set records the other way.
Yes, indeed.
The Riot Radio U.
So I got a PlayStation 5 last week. And let's face it, when it comes to like the new video game console, aside from... Nintendo, a lot of times between like Microsoft and Sony, or if you go back far enough and watch the documentaries between Sega and Nintendo, the race was who has the best graphics. It's graphics. But we've kind of reached a point where things obviously can get better, but man, diminishing returns, right? It's like, that looks like a person. No, now it really looks
really
like
does.
A person. So, I mean, in the meantime, we're just playing Fortnite. So I get it. But Nintendo always embraces this idea of playing differently, and they always kind of innovate in that space. And the thing that the PlayStation, I know a lot of people are talking about it, but I got to throw it back out there, is the PlayStation 5 controller. That thing feels like a game changer to me. And I didn't feel that way. I've been playing a game called Godfall, which is a lot like Diablo or, I don't know, like it's a loot game. You're running around poking stuff, like no big deal. Controller, not really a big deal in that game. But I finally yesterday fired up Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War because it takes an hour to say the title. That's crazy. Each and every gun has a different trigger pull.
Oh, so they are able on the remote, on the controller.
They are able to add force feedback, or what they're calling adaptive triggering, into the trigger, like the L2, R2 buttons on the controller, and it feels wild. There's also a game that comes with every PlayStation 5 called Astro's Playroom. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And it really is just practically a 5-hour demo for the controller. And I started playing that yesterday, and I am blown away by that adaptive controller and the vibration that they have built into it, because it can be like a little vibration, a lot. It can be localized at different points inside the controller. It is weird in the coolest way possible.
Well, it's nice because, again, like you're saying, there's only so many points where you feel like they can update something and innovate. And with a controller with consoles, I mean, it doesn't feel like there's been as much innovation in quite some time, but Are the rest of the PlayStation fans, are they liking it too, or?
In general, it seems like people really like it. The one thing that I think about it is I keep thinking like, man, this thing is awesome. It feels like it could break any day. Like maybe not. Maybe it's super.
Well, treat it gently.
I know.
Be very gentle with it.
But there are just times when anytime I look at something that's brand new and it's really cool, I always look at it and think, this thing right here, I'm going to end up buying 6 of these because it is going to.
Because you like it.
Every other month, this thing's going to break. It's not going to be right. But I don't know. In the race between like an Xbox and a PlayStation, if you had told me the controller would make the difference, I would have been like, whatever, dude. Like, I love the Xbox controller, which I do. Like, it's a wonderful controller. It's great. But, man, Sony really did something great here, guys. The DualSense controller. I would just say don't underestimate it. And I know many of you are at home, wringing your hands going, I don't want to underestimate Sony. I'm just thinking it through.
Well, at least this part's good. At least you can be happy about that part.
Worst of the Riot podcast.
I don't like to turn this show into just a big beacon of bad news. I don't want us to do that. But I'm afraid I have some bad news, and I'm going to have to share it.
It would just be wrong if we did not, I guess.
I think we're all doomed. Like, I think that we've had it, and there may not be a road back. And a lot of people are like, oh, because of COVID, because of this and that. And no, it's not that. Though this could have been where all of COVID started, for all we know. In Canada, someone killed the white moose.
Oh, is it like a sacred white moose or something?
That's right, Nikki.
Uh-oh. Who did that?
They don't know. They're trying to figure it out. But someone has killed the white moose, and they left its remains.
So they're making a statement or something? They said everybody in...
They just left it.
Well, I think this is a bit of an overstatement, but they're like, everyone is outraged in Canada. So they say everyone is outraged and sad because of this rare moose, this white one, that was killed.
Well, I mean, not everyone in Canada. Canada's big.
That's what I was meaning. I think they're probably, but I bet they're saying the residents, especially of the area. Oh, so it's like this. In Canada, there's something called a spirit bear, which it's...
Wait, is that like you guys have Spirit Week and then everybody dresses up like a bear? So it's Spirit Bear?
They look like white bears, but they're not. They're not polar bears, but it is considered like extra special bear for spirit bear. So
Can I be the voice of Nikki for just a minute?
Yeah.
Every bear is extra special.
I know, but they really think it's like mystical. Like it's a special bear. Like you wouldn't want to do anything to this bear. So I think it's similar to that, where it's called a spirit moose, and residents of the Ontario community are offering a reward to anyone who can help find the poachers that killed the white moose.
Okay, so it's illegal to do that. So it's not just a local tradition. It's also law.
You can shoot moose though, right? But just not the white one?
Not the white moose,
the spirit one.
So what do you do if they find out who you are that killed the white moose? Do they kill you to appease the moose?
I don't know. I'm sure maybe you even go to jail. It could be that big of a deal.
Maybe your punishment is you have to live in the woods now and live the life the moose would have lived.
They're saying that poachers recently killed 2 female moose, including one that was the white one. The remains, including their heads, were left along a remote service road. So they're mad. They're sad. They say no one needs a moose that bad, so why would you go shoot one? Could have been maybe they didn't know that they didn't catch that one of them was the white spirit moose, and then they just left him there. They're just trying to figure it out.
They're just trying to get away from it, but they've been found out, and everybody's looking for the white moose killer.
Everybody's looking. So they want information. If anybody knows any details on it, they want to know.
Well, if anybody wants to know where COVID-19 came from, everybody's like, maybe it's China, maybe it's this, maybe it came from an asteroid, maybe it came from whatever. It came
you think
because
it was this?
Someone slayed the white moose.
Now, Obi, if you're looking at the article, if you click on the left side, the Canada's ghostly spirit bears are even rarer than thought. That's the spirit bears, so it's similar.
I'm telling you guys, this all comes down to somebody shot the white moose. That's where we are.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.
I got up. I get to get a snack now.